Santa Clara Broncos head basketball coach Herb Sendek returns to the floors of the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast. His team has won 10 out of its last 12 basketball games. They've crafted a 13-7 record, 5-2 in the WCC as they sit in a four-way tie for second place. Coach, it's great hosting you on the show again and seeing your Broncos marching to that high terrain in the WCC.
Thank you. Great to be with you, Ken.
That 103-99 win over Gonzaga last weekend, those 18 threes that the Broncos make in that game were the most by an opponent in the Kennel in history. Tyree Bryan made 7 of those and leading with a career-high 35 points.
Yeah, no question. It was a high-scoring game. 103-99, a regulation game. So, both teams put a lot of points on the board.
Now, those 201 makes are the most in this deep league right now and are the 573 attempts. When you look to attack from 3, how do you look for that triple inside of this interesting offensive attack?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a function of what the defense is doing. And, we want to not just take threes, but like everybody, take good, open, advantage threes if we're able to create them.
How do you create those? Is it more of a half-court set type thing, or do you look immediately in transition?
Both. And, it's interwoven throughout our offense. It's conceptual. And obviously the three-point line not only is important offensively, but, you have to try to do your best to defend it down the other end as well. And certain nights, you shoot the ball better than other nights. And so you certainly have to be able to, win in a variety of ways if you're going to have the best possible season. We obviously shot the ball really well on Saturday. On Thursday, we didn't. So when the ball goes in the basket, things tend to turn out a lot better.
And looking at your defense against the three, this is a quality three-point shooting league with fast break opportunities across the board. You guys are 4 defensively against the three in the West Coast Conference, which I think is a really nice number based on your opponents.
Well, we've improved in that area. We probably didn't help our guys out of the gates early in the season. Platooning them in a way to do what they needed to do defensively. But our coaches have done a good job adjusting, and as a result, I think we've really improved that part of our defense. And if you look at our numbers, it's a little bit of a tale of 2 seasons. We played a really tough non-conference schedule. We got off to not the most desirable start, but our coaches did a really good job of, I think, adjusting, and it's helped us. And I think we're defending in general better, but certainly the 3.
We mentioned Tyree Bryan. Now, Carlos Stewart and center Christopher Tilley have your top 3-point percentages. Now, Tilley's a 3-point savvy post, usually a given quality that you're going to look for inside of this type of offense each season.
Yeah, no, Christoph has improved every step of the way. He's had a tremendous junior year for us to date. His versatility really pays dividends for us in a number of ways and helps facilitate our offense.
As you go about like putting your teams together, obviously we know that's different each season. Do you always look, or not really always, but is it really high on your list to find that post that's going to make that 3 so it changes the defensive structure of your opponents?
Well, it's certainly an asset. It's an advantage if he can shoot the 3. You don't always have that in your personnel. It varies from team to team, year to year. But certainly, if an opponent or you yourself have a five-man who can shoot to three, it forces your defense to adjust accordingly.
Carlos Stewart had a recent 3 game stretch where he made 11 of 20 from behind the arc. He and Adama Ball are leading Santa Clara in assists. Ball averages 15 points in his last 5 games, as that equates to around his season high overall, as he leads 5 Broncos in double figures.
Yeah, both those guys are having really good seasons for us. They're a good combination in the backcourt, and as they have gained more experience playing together, I think, our team has realized the benefit of those guys, getting more comfortable and more in sync playing together.
Sustainability is a big key in sports and really life in general. Discuss the sustainability of the depth here, as 9 players average double figures in depth, and they build quality rotations, and they're a tough cover. Great to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, every team's different, Um, ideally, balance is a good thing. We have a number of guys who contribute, and for us to win, it's a total team effort, both ends of the floor.
We mentioned your team has won 10 out of the last 12. How did your players pick up the game in starting that 10-2 streak?
Yeah, we didn't play poorly early. We didn't do a good job finishing games. And we've lost a number of really gut-wrenching, heartbreaking games, woulda, coulda, shoulda down the very end where, an amazing sequence of events occurred. Now, recently we've won some of those as well, in all fairness, but it seems like we've played a disproportionate number of really close games. Um, but I think that's probably a microcosm of college basketball today, and night in, night out, some of the finishes, the endings to games are just truly miraculous. And it's one thing that makes our sport so entertaining.
As the confidence level of maybe individual players picked up in that stretch as well?
I think so, but our guys are pretty resilient. I don't know that our guys ever, were down in the dumps. We played like I said, a really competitive schedule from the opening night of college basketball all the way through this point in the season. And our guys are pretty even keeled, and they're resilient, and they're focused on getting better.
Your ability in team building is known as one of your many talents over your 23-year career. How did you acquire this craft in finding your ideas as a coach and a person that ideally fit players together?
Yeah, I don't know if I've acquired anything. I'm still learning every day and
Yeah,
making more mistakes than my share.
I understand. Santa Clara, the contender in the WCC now, as we were mentioning, tied for second in the league. Just to go back a couple of years, you posted Jalen Williams, a 12th selection in the first round of the 2022 NBA draft at Oklahoma City. Then Brandon Podzinski, the 19th pick in the first round, struggled with injuries this year, but he figures so well in Steve Kerr's rotation.
Yeah, two remarkable young men, great stories. So proud of both Jalen and Brandon. And, we enjoy cheering for them. And both those guys are off to amazing starts in the NBA. Perhaps Jalen can even be an all-star this year. Like you said, Brandon has recently battled an injury, and hopefully he'll be back on the floor shortly.
When you bring players into your program that are, talented as these guys are, how do you evaluate, okay, what's the next thing this kid needs to be able to push his game forward?
Yeah, I mean, we're watching tape and working with them on the floor a daily basis. We have good lines of communication, and we try to help all of our guys, improve day in, day out, and advance their games on a broad-based front. And we give it everything we can to help each guy develop as he matriculates through our program.
Do you and your staff work on addressing players' personalities inside of basketball itself from week to week, maybe? Where have they improved, but where maybe they stepped back? And how many games in a stretch do you look at that per se?
Yeah, I mean, we try to ask ourselves every day, what does our team need today? And, you know, subsidiary to that question is what does each individual need today? We don't necessarily wait any, regular time increment before we take inventory. We try to be alert and aware, you know, in the present moment for what our team needs and what individual players need.
The Washington State Cougars come into the Levy Center on Thursday evening. Discuss the matchup with Washington State. They're also 5-2. They sport a 15-5 ledger, and they have a very fast pace of play as well. They account for 16 seconds per possession, while your squad, these Broncos, are at 17 seconds. This is a must watch.
Yeah, they're a very good team, as their record reflects. Very well coached. Um, they have a relatively unique style of play um, that really forces you to prepare. Um, they shoot the ball with their front court, as we go back in our conversation from earlier, and some of the challenges that presents. But yeah, they're a seasoned team. They've been together. They're experienced, and they're a very good basketball team, needless to say.
Coach Herb Sendek, I always enjoy having Coach on here because you get that idea of how his team plays, but you also can get into mindsets and stuff. And I love those types of evaluations. I'm just a frustrated guy that should have started in my 20s and been a coach.
No, you're way too smart to be a coach.
Hey, thanks a lot, and I wish you the
All right,
best.
Ken. All right,
A
have a
lot of
great
fun.
day. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, bye now.
Bye now.